You guys ready for today's topic? Approximately 17 million Nigerians abroad. These are 17 million working Nigerian citizens abroad. They send a combined $20 billion home annually in remittances. But what do these people have to show for it? When you have 17 million people sending $20 billion a year, that equates to about $1,200 a year per person. That's $100 a month per person. A lot of these funds, these remittances, and I was one of them. I was one of the uneducated young Nigerians in my late teens, from 19 to 30. I'm 46 years old now, who did not know that I could say no to family members. And I also, coming from the background that I came from, and I think a lot of Nigerians can attest to this, we did not have parents who were financially disciplined or financially savvy to educate us on money management, investments, savings. I didn't have any of that growing up. And then you are wired, if you happen to leave Nigeria to go abroad, and then you're sort of wired to then work your tail off overseas and start caring for your siblings back home, your mom and dad, cousins, uncles, aunts, friends, distant relatives who now are looking at you as a resource that they can tap into to help alleviate some of their financial snafus. And for those like me at 19 who didn't know any better, you then take upon this self-imposed responsibility of feeling that you are helping. And before you know what's happening, it snowballs. And in my case, by the time you realize that it's a waste, for me, it took 11 years for me to realize that the remittances that I was sending back home to Nigeria from 19 to 30 was all a complete waste. When you look at $1,200 a year, $100 a month, by the time you convert that money into Naira, the current rate right now is 1,718. $1 to 1,718 Naira. By the end of 2024, I can almost guarantee you that it's going to hit 2,000 Naira, because that's where it's going. And if you've been following the financial state of Nigeria, you know that what goes up never comes down. If you're thinking that one day the dollar is going to crash and you're going to go back to where it was $1 to 300 Naira, those days are gone. Those days will never, ever, ever happen again. It's just gonna keep going up. And I see that trajectory going up to even 2,000 naira to a dollar by the first quarter of 2025. So a lot of these remittances that's encouraged by family and friends, your parents, they're all short term. They don't do anything to impact these remittances. These remittances don't do anything to impact the local economy in Nigeria. Whether you choose to believe that or not, that is up to you. But in my opinion, I can attest that they do not do anything. They're literally a temporary solution to a long-term problem. Now, what you can do, let's just say, by the time that this video circulates online, a few months from now, the dollar would have hit 2,000 naira. So when you take 12,000 naira, $1,200, and you multiply that by 2,000, you're looking at about 2.4, 2.5 million naira. You can buy a plot of land with that money. And when you multiply that by 5, we're talking about 2.5 million naira a year. In 5 years, that's about 12 million naira. You can build a small, even if it's a 1-bedroom flat for yourself, so you don't have to return to Nigeria and start staying with friends, staying with family members. And you know what comes with that. When you're staying with friends and you're staying with family, you are compelled to feed these people. When they bring their friends along, you are compelled to host these people. Everywhere you go, you are compelled to sponsor drinks, sponsor dinners, sponsor refreshments, sponsor entertainment. All of that falls onto you. You have spent your time in America working or abroad, putting in 12-hour days, 14-hour days. I've been there. And then you save a little bit of money to buy that airplane ticket, and you are going home to see family and friends. And then when you get home, what do? You continue the spending spree, further putting yourself in that hole. Instead of just sending these remittances, you could channel that money into investments in Nigeria. You could start a business. You could buy made in Nigeria goods, import them abroad, sell them in hard currency, and repeat the process. I am a shareholder at Walmart. I have Walmart stocks. I started buying Walmart stocks when it was $50 per share. Now it's about $83 a share, going on $85 a share. It continues to increase. With $100 a month, instead of you sending that money in remittances to Nigeria, you could put that into stocks. It doesn't have to be a Walmart. There are other stocks out there that you can pick up for $100 a month when you put that money aside for those stocks. You could invest that money when you have 17 million Nigerians sending $100 a month in remittances to family and friends for parties and funerals and all of this. You can put $100 a month into a high yield savings account. I have one of those savings accounts through American Express. I think mine is like 4.6%. If you feel compelled to help your extended family back home, start a business and employ these people. Let them work. Instead of sending these wasteful remittances, $20 billion a year. If you imagine if that goes into enterprising projects. We are currently building a corporate housing project in Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria, on the back and the strength of the United States dollar. I stopped sending these remittances to Nigeria 16 years ago. I'm 46 years old. I stopped sending when I was 30. I did it for 11 years, from 19 to 30. Wasted all that time, wasted all that money, sending remittances to these people. You've heard, I know someone once told me that that the load that they were carrying was too much. 65 years old, a 65-year-old woman who's been here for 34 years, who felt compelled to work her back off in the United States just to send money to Nigeria to pay people's rent, pay school fees, feed these people, clothe these people, care for these people for 34 years. She was nearly in tears when she told me that the load she was carrying was too much. And the question I asked her was, drop the load. Or what I told her, why are you carrying this load? You have to stop wearing the backpack of feeling that you have to care and take care of people. If you're going to send remittances, your immediate family members, the mother of your children, the father of your children, that's it. When it comes to aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, cousins, friends, they're not your responsibility. And I know that this is a tough conversation for some people to have. Because the people back there in Nigeria who are collecting these remittances are not going to tell you to stop. I wish I had a me from 19 to 30. I wish I had someone like me now who will look me in the eye and tell me that I didn't have to do those things. For 11 years, I didn't even know I could say no. I was doing all sorts of weird stuff just to make people happy. At the end of 11 years of supporting these people financially, not a single thing came out of it. Not a single thing came out of it that I could put my finger on and say, that happened as a result of 11 years of financial support. Nothing. So think of those numbers. Think of that staggering number for a second. 70 million Nigerians abroad combined sending approximately $20 billion every single year to Nigeria. And I can probably say like 90% of that money is to family and friends, school fees, parties, funerals, celebrations, meaningless things. You gotta invest. Part of this YouTube channel is to educate, is to share my personal experiences and my personal struggles, and also to share my projects. $1,200 a year in a high yield savings account will get you more than you just sending it to Nigeria for these people. $1,200 a year invested in buying and importing made in Nigeria goods that you can sell on platforms like Amazon, eBay, Walmart Marketplace, your website. $1,200 a year that you could convert into Naira and pick up that piece of land and start building your home so you don't have to depend on living with people. A lot of you can't even go to Nigeria because you don't have a place to live. Because you've given away all of your money. These are cold, hard truths that I'm talking about here. It hits home for me because my father spent 42 years in America sending money home, and he had nothing to show for it. My father was living in the United States in an apartment, sending money home to someone in Nigeria who's building his own house, to build his own house. His brother today has a house on the back of my father's funding. When my father was in America, living in an apartment complex, think about that for a second. You are living in an apartment complex and you're remitting money to your brother who is building his own house for his own family. And then when you go home to visit, guess who you end up staying with? That brother. Not only are you staying with him, you're feeding him, you're feeding his family, you're hosting his friends, you're taking them out. Times have changed, guys. Times have changed. You have to wake up and smell the roses. Start putting aside money for your future. If you don't want to invest in Nigeria, if you don't put it stocks, high yield savings account, even regular savings account, you are better off keeping your money than you just sending it over to people who was just gonna use it for nothing. That's the stats. I just wanted to put it out there, guys. My name is Richard Baricat. I'm a Nigerian based in the United States of America. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'm currently building an income-generating property for myself in Uyo. I have 5 different properties in Nigeria. I have a land in Lagos. I'm building a corporate housing project right now in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. I have my principal residence in my village that I go to live, so I don't have to live with anybody when I get to Nigeria. I have a couple of lands here and there that I'm going to use for commercial purposes. You got to start doing these things so you're not stuck abroad. A lot of you are stuck abroad. You cannot go home because they're going to look at you. You've been abroad for 20 years, for 30 years with nothing to show for it. These same people that you've been sending money to are the same ones that are going to be laughing at you. How can you build something for yourself when you keep giving your money away? If you like this content, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, comment. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a dialogue about this plague, this self-imposed problem, the self-imposed headache that majority of Nigerians put on themselves. I'm not here to save Nigerians. It's not, that is not my position. But I'm just here to hopefully reach one or two people who can divert the remittances into assets for themselves. Sending remittance money to your family is not an asset. Once that money leaves your hand, it's gone forever. I gotta close it here, guys. Support the channel. Like, share, comment. Subscribe. Talk to you guys later, guys. Rich and Barakat. Take care.